Friend says it's cool. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Even the country high. Don't fall for it. Drug abuse, even though you never, even though you want to, really no bother. They don't want to, even though you didn't know. Now you know. Drug abuse, bottle. You know. You know you don't do me. You didn't do my. You didn't do my body. You know. You know you don't buy. You don't buy so. You don't buy.
Illicit substance in homes, illicit substance use in homes, strategy.
Obalaoye Grammar School there, and there, and the Ebonyi State Command of NDLEA to students and staff of Agbaju Unohu Community. Margaret Ekpo Secondary School, Calabar, on the consequences of substance abuse on same day. On Friday, 18th October, the Edo State Command delivered WADA enlightenment lecture to students and staff of Ikeyi Girls Senior Secondary School, Auchi. In the same vein, the Katsina State Command held WADA enlightenment lecture for students and staff of Government Day Secondary School, Bindawa, just as the Kebbi State Command facilitated WADA advocacy lecture for students and staff of Emirates Secondary School, Argungu. That's the update for this week. My name is Ifetolu Wanimi, and I hand you over to our host, Mr. Femi, Baba Femi.
All right, thank you very much, then, Netta and Ife. Welcome back to From the News Highlight segments. Now, let's remind ourselves about some of the rules of engagement on this platform. Please note that when you are approved to be on the speaker's corner, ensure that you remain muted until after the presentation by our guest speaker, and then we'll start inviting individuals to unmute themselves and make their contributions or ask their questions in few seconds. Please, let's this is how we do it week in, week out. So let's be guided by this. Please let's not interrupt, and let's keep it orderly so that we can all enjoy the interaction and the knowledge and information that will be shared on this platform today. We would always appreciate your usual cooperation. Thank you very much for that. Now, quickly, before I introduce our guest today, let's quickly remind ourselves about the NDLA's call center, where we have a lot of professionals ready and available 24/7 to support and to help those who are in need of help, especially those struggling with substance abuse. We have there in our call center, which runs 24/7. That's every day of the week, every hour of the day. We have the counselors, clinical psychologists, psychotherapists, and psychiatric doctors. All of them work on shift. They run 24/7 there. Please let's make sure that we take advantage of this service. We have the service is provided via our toll-free helpline, which is 0800 1020 3040. The helpline again is 0800 10 20 30 40. You can sit in the comfort of your home from any part of the country and call the number. You'll be attended to, and you can also rest assured that your conversation is in confidence, treated with utmost confidentiality. You have no fear of being judged or being stigmatized. That it's a certainty. That is an assurance. And then the service is language sensitive, meaning that if you cannot speak English or Pidgin English, we have our experts who can also speak to you and address your issues in any of the three major Nigerian languages of Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo. So, indeed, nobody really has an excuse not to seek support, not to seek treatment, especially those who are struggling with substance abuse or their friends and family members. Please, let's take advantage of this service and get help for those that need help. Now let's come to our guest today. We have quite a number of compatriots already on the space. I will be acknowledging them immediately after the presentation by our guest speaker. But quickly, let's introduce our guest speaker, and he's no other person than Daniel Ikena Molobe, who is a public health professional. He has worked in various capacities, such as in programs in non-profit organizations and research in academic and research institutions. He holds an MSc, that's a master's degree in public health from the University of Lagos. He's received advanced training courses in Addiction Research and Pregnancy at Morehouse School of Medicine, Atlanta, Georgia, that's in US, as well as executive course in human rights and drug policy at University of Ghana School of Law. He has also received the UNODC, that's United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, DPTC training, that's DPTC is drug prevention, treatment and care, and UNODC policymaker training in the nature, prevention and treatment of drug use disorder. In 2022, he participated in a 3-month international research fellowship program at the Global Center for Applied Health Research of the Arizona State University, that's in US. He has published in international peer-reviewed journals, book chapter, and also contributed in the current National Drug Control Master Plan, that is 2021 to 2025. He has equally presented some of his research papers at international conferences such as the NIDA International Forum US, Tackling Doping in Sports Conference, that's in the United Kingdom, International Conference in Child Marriage, Malaysia, and International Conference on Drugs and Youth and Young People in Malaysia. He was also a scholarship recipient as international delegate at the Harm Reduction Conference in Portugal, Drug Policy Reform Conference in US, and Global Conference on Drug Demand Reduction in Kenya. He's developed a keen interest and passion for research, particularly in drugs and substance use. He was a recipient of the 2018 UNODC Academic Research Grant and 2022 Arizona State University Research Fellowship Grant to adapt the Keeping It Real, that's a school-based program that aims to reduce substance use among adolescent children for use in Lagos. He co-founded the Unified Initiative for a Drug-Free Nigeria, where he currently serves as director. Ikenna is also serves on the board of the International Society of Substance Use Professionals, ISOP Nigeria, as executive. He is also the Africa Regional Lead for the International Substance Abuse and Addiction Coalition, ISEC. Please join me in welcoming Daniel Ikenna Molobi as I invite him to unmute himself while we listen to him spend the next 30 to 40 minutes discuss our topic for today, that is addressing illicit substance use in homes, strategies for intentional parents. Please go ahead, Mazi Ikenna. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Baba Femi. Okay, today I will be discussing on the topic addressing illicit substance use in homes, strategies for international parents. I will start with introduction by saying that drug use is a worldwide problem. And people use drugs for different reasons. For example, to have fun, to cope with stress, to deal with pain, to sleep or stay awake, to enhance sex, and to celebrate. Most people who experiment with drug use tend to realize that they do not want to become hooked or dependent on drugs to meet their needs and cease use. For some, drugs become central to their lives and they believe that they cannot live without them. Such people are dependent on the drugs they use. They also recognize that their use of drugs brings many extra difficulties in their lives. For example, finding money to buy drugs, conflicts with family and friends, loss of educational and employment opportunities, violence, imprisonment, and even serious illness and death. The relationship between families and substance abuse has always been abandoned. The effect of a substance use can be felt by the whole family, and the family contents hold information about how substance use and disorder is developed. Now, I'm talking about drug use in the family. Let's just look at the drug use in the family, in the family. The family system theory and attachment theory are theoretical models that provide a framework for understanding how substance use affects the family. So understanding the current developmental stage a family is in helps inform assessment of impairment and determination of appropriate interventions. Substance use can negatively affect emotional and behavioral patterns of the family, resulting in poor outcomes for the children and adults in the family. So once someone in the family is addicted, the whole family it affected the whole family directly and indirectly. Then the family remains the primary source of attachment, nurturing, and socialization for humans in our current society. Therefore, the impact of substance use disorders on the family and individual family members merits attention. In order to prevent substance use, prevention starts from the home. Such can be achieved through intentional parenting. Now, looking at parent-children relationship, which is very important in addressing illicit drug use in homes. First, relationships serve as the communication conduits that connect family members to each other. And attachment theory provides a way of understanding the development and quality of relationships between family members. At the time of an infant birth, the primary relationship, usually with the mother, but not always, serve as the template for all subsequent relationships throughout the life cycle. This relationship forms a subsystem within the larger family system. It is through this relationship at a pre-language level that infants learn to communicate and relate to their environment. So the way in which the primary caretaker, that's the parents, respond to these cues will establish the quality of the attachment. Generally, if the child experiences the primary caretakers as responsive and nurturing, a secure attachment will form. Then, if the child experiences the primary caretaker as unresponsive or inconsistently responsive, an insecure attachment may form that can result in a variety of problems, including anxiety, depression, and failure to thrive. Now, looking at the strategies for intentional parents, as a parent or someone in a parenting role, you play an essential role in your child's success. The parents are the most important influence in your child's life. Therefore, intentional parenting is an approach where you use strategies to build a healthy parent-child relationship, which is very, very important. A healthy parent-child relationship provides opportunities for you and your child to learn and practice social and emotional skills. So social and emotional skills are important because they are linked to significant positive outcomes throughout life, such as in academic achievement, improved relationships, greater emotional well-being, among others. So intentional parenting is an approach where you use strategies to build a healthy parent-child relationship. It is an approach to develop safe, stable, and nurturing parent-child relationship. The intentional parenting approach relies on brain science, I will say, to provide you ways to stay present and involved with your child. Intentional parenting is a way to raise children. The intentional parenting approach relies on brain science, like I said before. So to provide you ways to stay present and involved with your child, intentional parenting is a way to raise children to become healthy, independent young adults. So parenting approach changes, of course, it changes as your child ages. So the style that you use when the child um, is born need to change as the child grow into teenager as well. So it requires different strategies, different limits, and different style of guidance and discipline. So parents should note that. So now we have various roles of parents in making sure that illicit drug use is being addressed in homes. First, we need to make our home a safe space. How do we make our home a safe space? A lot of adolescents use drugs as a means of escape from family issues. The parents should be a role model to their children. Families factors such as economic standing, that's the finances, witnessing frequent fights at homes, substance using parents, that is parents using substances, abuse in homes, and neglect can all be triggers for children. So we ensure that we live in a peaceful home. That should be the first role of a parent. Then keeping the home as a safe front can help reduce the chances of drug abuse among the children. Then parents should establish a good communication culture. We should establish a good communication culture. We should learn how to listen to our children, observe them all the time. Then adolescents and youth have been known to turn to drugs when they cannot express themselves to the people that matter in their lives. They become frequent with other drug users and find the listening ears they crave for with them. From the research, drug abuse can start at an early age. From the research that we've conducted in junior secondary school, we found out that at the age of 11, even at 9, children have started abusing drugs. So adolescents, it is very important that they are growing. We should continue to observe, educate them, and also live a model life they can emulate from. So it is important for parents to spend time with their children. We have to try to make out time and spend time with our children, establish relationships, and create avenue for positive conversation is very important. We need to engage our children in a positive conversation all the time. Reduce condemnation and or being judgmental. Parents should keep an open mind. We should always encourage our children, even if, for example, they are not doing well in school, we should not condemn them. Because in the process that you condemn a child, the child may um, get into an emotional trauma and start isolating him or herself, and in that process can decide to use drug in order to cope. Then another role of the parents is drug and substance use education. When we talk about drug and substance use education, it is not for the school only, or maybe for when the NGOs are disseminating awareness on drug abuse. It is not for them only. In short, education should start from homes. The parents should initiate that education. So young people are known to always want to experiment things, especially the one they consider alien, something new. They want to experiment on it. For this reason, it is important for parents to provide health education as it relates to drug abuse. That should start as early as they are growing up. You should initiate that education with your children. Understanding the dangers of drug of abuse discourage the use and reduce the chances of experimentation. So this teaching should start in the pre-teen period, from the age of 8 to 12 years old. You should initiate that education. Then parents should talk frequently about risks and dangers of drug use. Then we, the parents, should also establish rules and consequences. Having stated rules and corresponding consequences are very essential tools for parents seeking to prevent drugs and substance abuse. Be mindful of the kind of punishment that you give your children when they disobey maybe the rules you set. The punishment, if you are told to initiate any punishment, it shouldn't be a hard punishment. Most importantly, you need to always talk to your child. You caution your child. That works best. Then the child will be able to know the right thing and will not repeat it. Why this is important to do? The most important is to follow through with the caution. If a child breaks a rule, always follow through and establish boundaries. Children learn effectively with clear boundaries and establish consequences that they know will always occur. They model good behavior, like I said before. In intentional parenting, we should model good behavior to our children. Children with parents who use drugs are more likely to abuse drugs. We have seen cases where parents use drugs. They send their children to buy alcohol. They send their children to buy tobacco. In that process, the child decides to experiment and from there starts to take those drugs. So there is a continuous need for parents to be a splitting image of what they want their kids to be. And parents play a significant role in deterring their kids from using drugs. Spend time with your kids. Engage them in conversation and activities. There are various activities you can engage them at homes all the time so that they will not be idle. Then talk to them about drugs and substance use. Let them understand the effects. And most important, if you suspect drug use, don't delay. I mentioned, don't delay. Take necessary actions immediately. Sometimes when we send our children to schools, we drop them. Some parents drop their children in school and not knowing what is happening, just get home and they pick them up when they've finished. It is good to develop what we call parent-teachers relationship. Make sure you hand over your child to a teacher in the school, not only the class teacher, or discuss. Make sure you are also having a conversation with the class teacher. The teacher will also put an eye and also observe your child. It is very, very important. There was a school that we visited during the course of our research, and we were told by the principal that when the schools were resuming, that they searched the luggage of the students coming into the school, living in the dormitory, and they found, I'm talking of children of secondary schools, they found tramadol in their luggage. Now, the parents should ensure that they always look out for those things. Look out your child bags. You check your child bags. If you see any suspicious item, there are suspicious items that you may see, maybe a lighter or matches or something like that. There are so many of them that will make you to know if your child is abusing drugs. So you should always check their bags, ask them questions, and observe them always. Then early identification, very necessary. Early identification and intervention prevent the risk of substance dependency and other mental and psychological conditions associated with addiction. When you also notice that your child start to isolate him or herself, stay lonely all the time, please, it is that time that you need to take action immediately. Then drug abuse prevention starts with parents learning how to talk with their children about difficult topics. There are so many topics that we can discuss with our children as they are growing up. Then the programs offered by school, sports, and other groups can support what you have started and encourage your child to belong to some of these activities. Activities in the school, activities in the churches, activities in the mosque. Is very important because it helps to build them as they grow up. Then prevention starts, I've always said that it starts with parents. As a parent, you have a major impact on your child's decision not to use tobacco, alcohol, or drugs. Prevention starts when you start talking with and listening to your child. Always listen to your child. We've had cases times when the child is talking. There was a case where a child of 7 years was telling the parents sexually abused use is much less likely to happen if you do the following things, the following I will mention now. Provide guidance and clear rules. Drugs. That is the question you will ask yourself. Children notice how parents use alcohol, tobacco, and drugs at home, in their social life, and in other relationships. This includes how parents deal with strong feelings, emotions, stress, and even minor aches and pains. Then, watching of televisions, movies, video games that glamorize tobacco, alcohol, and drugs, we have to make sure that our children are not exposed to those, and we have many of them. Sometimes we cannot have control over this, but we need to ensure that our children are not exposed to it. Even the internet, we've handled a case where a child, a male child of 16 years old impregnated a child of 15 years. And he went to the internet and browsed internet to source for an abortion drugs. And he got it. How did he get it? He entered the site. The site asked, if you're 18, you should be 18 before you enter. And if you're 18, if you're above 18 and above, type your age. He is 16 and he typed 18 years there. That's why I said the internet is not controlled. And the site opened. He was able to get the name of the drugs and different whatever concoctions that can do that. And he gave to the young girl to abort the child. So you can now see some of these drugs may be given in overdose and can cause damages to the vital organ of the lady. So we have to be observant at all times. So since it's hard to escape the messages found, for example, in music, we have so many messages in music that are being produced now, and advertising. Discuss your child with your child have on us, because they listen to this message all the times. So you have to be discussing with them the when you are eating. Sometimes engage your family and eat together. Eating together as a family is a good time to talk and learn about what's going on. Encourage positive friendship and interest. Check to see that the friends and neighbors your child spend time with are safe and have values similar to yours. Because most of the children get to be initiated into this drug through peer pressure. So find ways to get your child involved, like I mentioned before, in sports, something that will keep them busy, hobbies, school clubs, and other activities. These usually are positive interactions that help develop character and lead to good peer relationships. Looking for activities that you and your child or the entire family can do together also is very important. Now, it is our duty, the parents' duty, to teach their child different ways to say no. I'll use the opportunity to introduce you to what we call the RAIL strategy. RAIL, that is the acronym REAL, RAIL, where R is an acronym where R stands for refuse, E stands for explain, A stands for avoid, and L stands for leave. These four strategies are strategies that young children can use to avoid or resist drug use. Refuse is just to say no. Just to say no and leave. And in a way that it will not hurt the other person. Maybe somebody who is offering you drugs. Then in a situation, some situation, you may need to explain to the person offering you drugs the reason why you should not take drugs. Tell them the risk involved in taking drugs. Then avoid going to places where drugs, let the children know to avoid going to places where these drugs are being taken. For example, in parties. And if you at all now find yourself in a situation or in a place where drug is being used, you then apply the last strategy, L, which is leave. You leave that, because if you don't leave that environment, you may be initiated, you may be influenced. To teach your child how to respond to some offering drugs, it is much easier to say no when prepared ahead of time. It helps if you can sometimes, as a parent, do some role plays and practice to your child so they will learn, because they can learn fast through role plays. This way, it becomes natural to do at least one of the following: firmly say no, give reason, no thanks. For example, no thanks, I'm not into that, or no, my parents would get really mad at me. Suggest something else to do, like watch a movie or play a game. Leave, go home, go to class, go join other friends. So those are the strategies. So in conclusion, I think we parents need to always teach our children. We need to model behavior. We need to be disciplined and consistency in relating with our children, and also be attentive. So at this point, I would say thank you all for listening to this discussion, and I welcome your questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much there, Daniel Ikena Molove, who is a well-known public health professional. And you can at this point mute yourself now, so that while there is a need for you to respond to any question, then you can mute yourself. Once again, we'd like to appreciate Ikena for that beautiful presentation. And indeed, right there, we have quite a lot of takeaways. I can say that clearly, that indeed there are quite a lot of takeaways from that presentation. And I'm glad quite a lot of parents will be happy to have this conversation, to listen to it over and over again, so that we can follow some of those strategies outlined. I have also seen quite a lot of questions streaming in from across. I'm sure very soon we'll get there. But then, before we get to reading out the questions and inviting those that want to interrogate or make contributions, let's quickly acknowledge some of our compatriots on this space. I'd like to appreciate the presence of Professor Rosemary Ogu. Professor Rosemary Ogu has always been with us on this platform. She's been a guest speaker here. Thank you very much, Prof. I've also seen my sister there, Kem Kem. Thank you, Kem Kem, Haji Akemi, for being part of this conversation. I've also seen One Pen. Thank you, Ahmad, for being part of this conversation today. I've also cited Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah is joining us on the handle of our Mental Health Foundation. Dr. Abdullah absolutely is a consultant psychiatrist at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. Quite a while. We'd also seen Shibuzo Akwere. Shibuzo has been, I'm sure Shibuzo is somewhere in Europe, but she's been part of this conversation as a guest speaker here before. I'm also seeing Pharmacist Aboma. Pharmacist Aboma joins us from the South. She's also been a guest on this platform before. I'm also seeing Maria Ilubohi. Maria Ilubohi has also been a UNODC trainer who has also been on this platform before and has since then been consistent. Thank you very much, Madam Maria. I've also seen Honorable Rewa. Thank you, Honorable Rewa, for being part of the conversation today. Barrister Sama, thank you for being part of the conversation today. Ibrahim Mubarak, thank you. We'll also have Dr. Edine Osoro. Dr. Edine Osoro, thank you for being present. Mohammed Bafo, thank you. Owonu Bigbenga, thank you, Benga. We've also seen Farouk ATK, thank you, Farouk. We've also seen Paul Faithman, thank you, Paul. Prince Eshimokai, thank you, Prince Eshimokai. Prince Eshimokai joins us from the US. And I've also seen Dr. West, who is a colleague here. Dr. Olusheyi Odewale also joins us. She's been on this platform as a guest also in the past. I've also seen some of my colleagues like Michelle Ofoyedu. Michelle is the commander of the NDLA Strategic Command Tinker. Thank you, Michelle. I've also seen Shidi Unduku. Thank you, Shidi. Shizom Ugona. Thank you, Lady Shizom. Timmy of Edmonton. Thank you, Timmy of Edmonton. And then we've also seen health situations that at Ngozi Ibe 17. Femi Ladiran, thank you. Mike Foley, thank you. Dirty Worldwide Entertainment, thank you. Dirty Worldwide Entertainment. I've also seen under my colleagues, Bashir Ibrahim. I can go on and on, but let me pause, take a pause at this moment so that we can get the conversation started really. And as time permits, by the grace of God, we would continue to acknowledge more people. But first, I've seen Professor Rosemary has, I think Professor Rosemary was the first to ask for the mic, to move to the speaker's corner. Let's find out if she has a contribution, something to add, Prof.
Thank you very much, Femi. Well done. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. This is really awesome. I have a question, but before I ask the question, I want to commend Ikenna. Ikenna Daniel, well done. Thank you so much. How to be intentional parents, how to teach our children, how to spend time with our children. I know that is one place where a lot of us find it difficult because we're busy chasing so many things, chasing career progression and so on, and we don't spend time with our children. So thank you very much for reiterating it. And I want to join you to reiterate it that as parents, we need to be intentional parenting, spend time with our children, teach them simple things. That real is so great. Refuse, say no. Explain why you don't need it. Avoid scenarios where you can find these things and then leave if you need to. We need to do that. We need to do that, please. And then for us adults too, because sometimes some of us may have these challenges and you don't know how to say no. Please say no. Daniel, you said something. I don't know, maybe I wasn't listening, but I didn't get it. So I would like you to expatiate again. You said if parents notice that their children are using drugs, illicit drugs, that they should take immediate action. They should not delay. So I want you to please go back. What immediate action should we take? What should we do? If you're in a home, in the house, and you notice or you suspect that your child is dealing, what should the parents do? Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And well done, everyone.
Thank you, Professor Rosemary. Ikenna, you are muted, so you can mute yourself. Let's get your response. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. So when you notice or you suspect that your child is taking drugs, there are certain behaviors that you can observe. For example, if a child is isolating him or herself, always try to stay alone, or maybe you search your child bag, you saw some suspicious items. You at that point you may need to take action immediately. So those actions, you first of all talk to your child. Talk to your child in a way that your child will be able to respond. You have to come close to the child to find out what the problem is, because that is where you start from. Then you can get a counselor. Get a counselor, because your child may not want to open up everything to you, but a skilled, specialized counselor, someone who has been trained, can handle that situation. So your child, you can get a counselor to counsel your child. Then if there is need, in some cases, that you may need to do drug testing, you can as well do drug testing as well to really find out the type of drugs that your child is using. Many parents have been calling me, at least every week, I usually receive a call from a parent or a family member that a child is using drugs. And first of all, I ask them questions. So there's so many questions. I ask them of the age of the child, the type of, do they know the type of drugs? Some parents say they don't know, but they know that he's taking drugs because of the behavior, the way the child is behaving, but they don't know the drugs. So it's very, very important for you to identify the child is actually taking drugs. Find out the type of drug is very necessary. The type of drugs the child is taking, because it will help in a very long way to for interventions. Thank you.
All right, thank you there, Ikena, and thanks, Professor Ogu, for that question. Also, okay, quickly, let's switch to our compatriot in the U.S., Princess Simokai. Please go ahead with your question or intervention.
Uh, Good morning, Mr. Femi, and to the speaker. Uh, Currently, I'm somewhere deployed in Asia. Tonight, I'm speaking as a Nigerian and not as an American. I kudos to the NAFDAC and for all they've done, and to the NDLA. I come from a community where I would not want to mention the name because a lot of people, if I mention the name, but I want to say thank you to NDLA for what they've done. Some years back, 10, 7 years back, my community somewhere in Edo State has been ravaged by, I would say, kids who think being involved either planting or selling um, drug has been the quickest way to make it in life. I have cousins who were led astray by thinking it's the easiest way to make it in life. Some times ago, I know from time to time, my community has always written petition to the NDLA, and the NDLA has always responded by raiding the community. They've actually done a good job. Uh, I would say much is to be done, and they've actually done a lot. To the speaker tonight, I have listened to you. I want to say thank you for all the points you've shared. As a parent and as a child, I have seen what drug had done in my community. I have seen folks who today I thought would have been successful people in life, but probably sometimes I try to question, is it out of shortcut because they want to make it they want to make it quickly, or is it out of failed parenting? It's still a question that I cannot give an answer to it. But what the speakers have said tonight, I think as a parent, there's there's things we need to learn from it. You have spoken well, you have said a lot, and as a parent myself, I I can sit back and actually from time to time meditate on what you said tonight, that parents need to play roles in our kids' life when it comes to drug abuse. Uh, Tonight, I want to say thank you to the NDLA for all they've continued to do. I've been listening to this program for the past 1 year, and no matter where I am in the world, I am currently serving somewhere in Asia. I always try to tune in and listen because I haven't come from a community where some of my mates and some of my peer group and some kids in my community who I thought today they would be in the same level, either somewhere in Nigeria or somewhere around the world, lifting the name of Nigeria. But they've been led astray by drug. Listening to this program has been something that has always given me hope that irrespective of where we find ourselves today, as a parent, there is a role we need to play. And tonight, the speaker hit that nail that parents has a lot to play when it comes to drug abuse in the lives of the kids. I want to thank Mr. Femi for hosting this program. I want to thank the NDLA for the role they've always done. And I want to thank every Nigerian who has always played a role to ensure that drug abuse continue to get that enlightenment. Thank you once more, Mr. Femi Robala.
All right.
I
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, there, Prince Eshimo Kyle. Thank you for the compliments, the remarks, and then I'm sure, Iken, would you want to say something to what he has said, or we should go on? You are muted.
I think you should go on.
Okay, all right. Thank you very
You should go
All
on.
right. Thank you
Yes.
very much for that. Thank you. Before I go to Dr. Abdullah, I think I have also seen Uncle Deji. Thank you, Uncle Deji, for being part of the conversation today. I've also seen Sulema. Sulema, it's a regular on the platform. I've also seen Dr. Loretta Ekanem. Dr. Loretta, it's a senior member of this platform. She joins from Chicago, Illinois. Thank you, Dr. Loretta. All right, quickly, let's come to Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah joins us on the handle of SL Mental Health Foundation. Dr. Abdullah, let's have your intervention. Dr. Abdullah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, please go ahead. Dr. Abdullah, I think your network is fluctuating. I'm not hearing you. Is there anyone hearing Dr. Abdullah? Mahmoud, are you hearing Dr. Abdullah?
No, I can't hear him from here, sir.
Okay, I'm sure Dr. Abdullah has very unusual. Dr. Abdullah used to have a very good, perfect network. Okay, while we await a stable network from Dr. Abdullah, let's come to One Pen. One Pen, please go ahead, unmute yourself, and let's hear from you. Ahmad, One Pen. If Ahmad is not ready, I think let me go ahead to our DM and then take some questions quickly before we come back to. Okay, this one is from Adekunle. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Ikena, for the presentation today. There are quite a lot of issues you have raised, which would definitely go a long way to help a lot of us who are parents. But I have a question. You did mention that as parents, we should be having we should be having some discussions, some topics with our kids. What are some of the topics you encourage us as parents to be discussing with our kids while they grow up? I was expecting that, but I didn't hear that, even though you encourage us to do that. But can you please guide us on some of these topics? Thank you. All right, thank you, Adekunle there. Please, Ike, you can go ahead, please. Ikena, can you hear me? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, yes, I can hear you. Thank you for that question. Well, before I answer these questions, this particular question, as parents, we should make sure we sometimes engage ourselves in learning, reading, because it will help us to um, be conversant with various topics that may be very good for us to discuss with our children as they are growing. We have a lot of topics. Even fear, for example, fear can be a topic that you can discuss. Now the internet, we are on the internet age now, where some of those topics you can read about them, then get more knowledge. Then as you sit down with your children, you start talking to them about that. How they can relate with their fellow peers. It can also form a topic. There are so many topics. So, but I encourage parents to always read. You can read on the internet, even if you cannot go and buy books. Google on internet for topics. You can read about them, and you get more and more information to share with your children. Thank you.
All right, thank you there. Mr. Daniel Ikena Molobe has been with us for the past 1 hour and plus. Let's okay, I think Dr. Abdullah is back now. Let's have the contribution from Dr. Abdullah. Please go ahead, Dr. Abdullah.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Babafemi, and good evening to all our listeners. Sorry, I have not been very available of recent, and today actually I had no intention of speaking. It was when I listened to Prof ask this question. Please, am I loud and clear?
Very loud and clear, Doc.
Yeah, what I
Yes.
had Prof. Good evening, Prof.
Good evening.
Yes. So I get a lot of people ask me this question, and I just felt maybe I could just share some few practical things parents could do when they find out that their children are using substances or they are using drugs. Yes, in as much as we keep insisting parents should be parents, not just providers, there are parents out there who are actually doing their best with intentional parenting and the rest, and somehow uh, they still have children who just go that way. So, what do you do when you find out that your child is using software? Because this is a discovery that almost always sends shock waves through the home. Parents are confused, they are angry, they are sad, and sometimes the way and manner you handle such discoveries can make or unmake that particular child or even the family. So the practical steps usually I suggest is what? Number one, stay calm and avoid immediate judgment. Take a moment to process the information you have just discovered without reacting impulsively. Okay? Approaching the situation very calmly, open communication with your child. Step number two, gather more information. All right? Try to